From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big Sunday early morning broadcast here on LALATE with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. As the President of the United States hatches a major deal in the fourth stimulus package yesterday. I'll be going over all those breaking details in this video. I'll be going over the fourth stimulus check as well, how much you're going to get with the fourth stimulus check, when you're going to get the fourth stimulus check, and who's going to get it. Then the second half of this video, we go over fifth stimulus that'll raise your benefits a lifetime an incredible amount. And then we're going to go over the thousands of dollars of viewers continue to get, and I want you to get as well. It's a big morning. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here. I'm really excited about all this wonderful news. Let's get to it this early morning, LALATE. And it's Sunday morning. How you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful day. How's the weather where you are? And tell me where you're tuning in from. Jump into the live chat or in the comments and tell me where you're watching and how's the weather. It was beautiful here on Saturday. I hope Sunday is going to be wonderful here in Santa Monica. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, I'm going to go over the monthly stimulus check, how much you're going to get with this fourth stimulus check, who's getting it as well. Then I'm also going to cover the jaw-dropping, incredible breaking news, incredible great news about the fourth stimulus package that was hatched by the president yesterday. A major deal, and it's wonderful. Then the third part of this recording will be going over third stimulus and also that big money for you to get. So subscribe. This is LALATE, your only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel, the only channel of its kind, live in the morning, taped in the afternoon. Now airing at the same time of this video is the Overnight Crypto Show. So after you're done with this, jump into that. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Also, like this video. 2,000-3,000 likes and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into the breaking news starting right now. That fourth stimulus heats up with a House bill and a Senate proposal. Let's compare the two starting right now and understand how they're slightly different. That fourth stimulus provides a lot of money across the board. And that fourth stimulus has incredible visions for a lot of people. Fourth stimulus includes the opportunity to get big money and big money across the board. That fourth stimulus heats up with some wonderful provisions, and let's look at it. The House bill provides a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate provision provides a stimulus check from July to December. Now, how does that compare when considering the monthly amounts? Let's take a look at them. So the monthly amounts from the House members are $1,000 after the first month, which is $2,000. The senators, the amount is unknown on a monthly basis, but word on the street is it's this. Wow, incredible, incredible great news. Now, let's understand how that works and understand the provisions behind it. So that incredible great news involves the ability to get that $2,000 a month or over 6 months, $12,000 or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. But let's go back and understand how this may get modified. The House bill is at issue the pandemic provision because legislators believe that there may be no more of the pandemic in a few weeks. If that's the case, the House vote will be called after the pandemic's over, and the House would provide you 12 months of stimulus checks. 12 months of stimulus checks in the House bill is $13,000. Compare that to this over 6 months. Yeah, so if you're in the live chat, vote right now, Senate or House. Which one you like, Senate or House? And tell me where you're tuning in from. All right, let's go over all the other details you need to know about this fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check, do you get it? Yes, you do. If you got the third stimulus check, you're getting the fourth stimulus check. $75,000 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check. Single individual, married couple, $150,000 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check. Double it. Household 4 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you are on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or row benefits, you get the fourth stimulus check. Congratulations. The fourth stimulus check would not be taken out for taxes. The fourth stimulus check is not income. The fourth stimulus check would not come in a wave. Hey, wave. I check. No, it's not waivable. The fourth stimulus check is a monthly stimulus check, not waivable. The fourth stimulus check has the same amount for adult dependents, minor dependents, and everyone else. And finally, they represent, as legislators, they make the representations, not me, I'm the news reporter, that the vote would be by the month of July. That means that the fourth stimulus check would go out in the month of July, for the month of July, and in the month of August, for the month of August. And so there you go. That is the first part of our fourth stimulus check update of 2021 in this video. But coming up, I have the big major deal that the president hatched about fourth stimulus. It's coming up in just a second. But here's a preview of the second half of this video. In the second half of this video, fifth stimulus heats up. And fifth stimulus is wonderful. It raises up your benefits lifetime and applies a new benchmark. I'll be going over what that is and how it works in just a second. But first, let's turn to that big money that I want you to get, and it's wonderful. This channel launched last year, and day one, I was never just reading news. Reading news clippings, not what I do. I get you money. We're here about cashing checks, not tracking checks. And in 2020, I was helping viewers get EIDL loans approved, $25 million that they had not gotten but for my detailing. I went and personally took care of their applications after they were stalled out. Save their businesses, save their homes, save their employees' homes as well. And then in fall of 2020, we didn't look like stimulus was going to happen. So I turned to rent. Well, that's the money we're going over right now. There's $250 billion that's available for you. Well, not all for you. You got to share it. It's not $250 billion just for you. What is this? The Publishers Clearinghouse? No. You got to share it. Sharing is caring. So what is this money? It's rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners utilities. Let's go over all the details. Get a pen and paper ready. I got a lot of money to get you in this video, and stay to the very end. The first pot of money we're getting is this rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners utilities, and you're killing it. Viewers, you are getting this money every few hours this channel. I am loving it. If you got that money as well, jump in the live chat or post in the comments what you got. It inspires other people. All right, you're ready? You're going to reach out to 6 locations. Get that pen and paper ready. Each location has different eligibility, and one may say no, and the other one may say yes. So don't worry. Just keep on going till you get someone who says yes. You're going to reach out to City Hall, City Housing Authority, County Hall, County Housing Authority, State Hall, State Housing Authority. The key word you're going to say is rent assistance because of COVID. Rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You're not going to say stimulus because they don't know what that means. And you're not going to say pineapple upside down cake. So say, what do you think you're calling? This ain't Marie Calendar, sir. This is the rent department. So you got to say the right words. They won't know what you're saying. Oh, yeah. Pineapple upside down cake. So congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this money recently. And the next pot of the money, boy, viewers are killing it. One viewer, I think her name was Marie, got $6,000 to $7,000 for this 2 days ago. It is SNAP. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, for her son, for her mom. Gail got it. And what is it? How much money is it? Let's go over all the details. What is this? It is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. How much is it? A fortune. For a family of 4 in Hawaii is upwards now $16,000. Why so much money? Because there's 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden and one from Trump, that raise everyone's benefits up 15% between now and July. Incredible. Can we get better than that? Maybe we can. We're 9 minutes of this video, and we are killing it so far. $16,000 for rent, $16,000 for SNAP for family 4 in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent. We are killing it, but I'm just getting started. The next pot of money is wonderful. One viewer got $5,000 from this. Let's go over what it is. It is money coming back from your states. The federal government has identified states as overpaying your unemployment benefits due to computer error and asking you to return the money. Well, congratulations. That money is coming back to you. Yes, the federal government has ordered states to return back to you money that they had overpaid of unemployment benefits due to computer error and asked you to return the money. How much? Reach out to your respective state. One viewer got $5,000. How are you going to receive it? To the direct deposit account you have on file with your state. When? Reach out to your state for routing times. Next, this next pot of money is wonderful. It is coming from the federal government, and Con got it 2 nights ago. Another viewer got it last Friday. Another viewer got before that. $1,000. Let's go over the details. First, how much money is it? It's a lot. Let's go over example. You had $9,000 of unemployment benefits in 2020. You paid a total tax bill $5,000, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you are getting back $4,000. Next, how? To the account that you have on file, if you're on for direct deposit, like COD did from this viewer's channel, or in the mail. If it's in the mail, watch for the mail. That mail receipt is, that mail check is in a razor-thin envelope landing in the month of June. How do you track it? When are we receiving it? You're receiving the checks in the month of June. They were sent out in the month of May. You can track it by going to irs.gov, setting up a username and password, and going in there and doing what's called a tracking tool. And 70% of the time it works. Type in your username, password, and your social security number and do a transcript search for yourself. It will reveal the activity on your name, your tax return, your tax payment, and that refund check. And there you go. That is the incredible news. But we're going to top it now by going to the second part of the fourth stimulus check update of 2021 in this recording. Well, it got incredible yesterday, folks, as the President of the United States delivered a deal of major proportions in the fourth stimulus package. I was really the only place on the planet that was covering the subject matter because it was such a minute issue. But now the deal was hatched out of nowhere, even though I told you that there was some strange happening on a Saturday morning. Before we get to it, let me show you the wind-up that came before that announcement on Saturday, yesterday. The Friday before Memorial Day weekend, Leader Schumer confirmed 3 things that I had been reporting on this channel. 1, he announced that the reconciliation process is already underway. Number 2, he confirmed that the reconciliation process will be done by July 4th. And number 3, he confirmed the reconciliation process will be done with or without bipartisan support. Wonderful news. So how did we get to that spot? Well, John Paul, who had written that House bill, had written Schumer a letter saying, call the vote for recon. What are we waiting for? Now, that's incredible news because the letter was co-signed by 12 House Democrats. Who are those House Democrats? Well, they were among the same House Democrats who had written the president a letter, over 100 of them, a week earlier, saying, we're going to put fourth stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Oh, my goodness. So John Paul, about a week ago, wrote Schumer a letter saying, call the vote. And guess what he's doing? He's calling the vote. Later in this video, I'll explain what calling the vote is. But it got even better. Yes, it got a lot better. When last Friday, 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to work with you to put multiple monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Work with you is a euphemism because the president doesn't write legislation. They do. But who are these people who wrote this letter? They are on the subcommittee of the House that's solely and exclusively responsible for writing stimulus checks. Wow, now that's incredible. It is. And they wrote the president saying they're going to do it? Yes. So who are these people? They are on the committee that wrote the first stimulus checks, the second stimulus check, the third stimulus check, and are solely responsible for writing the fourth stimulus check. Oh my goodness. Which brings us up to the breaking news from yesterday, the deal hatched by the president Saturday morning. I've been detailing this over the last 2 weeks for you. I referred to it as, and then last Tuesday the president did this. I always talked about it as a complicated thing, so I'm going to slow it down so you understand the total magnitude of this incredible deal. The fourth stimulus is paid for by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. Currently at 21%, the president went very high. Moderate Democrats didn't want it that high. The president justified the level of how high it was based upon the concern that businesses would flee their operations to overseas territories. So the president dropped the corporate rate a little bit more, and the House Democrats and Senate Democrats said deal. But the president still saw an issue with this businesses fleeing elsewhere. So what did he do last Tuesday? He reached out to global leaders to try to get the global minimum corporate tax rate higher at 15%. So businesses would not flee U.S. territory because of fourth stimulus and go overseas. That was the idea, that if he passes fourth stimulus, the president was worried businesses would flee our territory and move overseas. And those countries around the globe, those 7 G7 countries, tentatively agreed last Tuesday. Well, the president that same day told insiders that that what he was planning to do was the following: that after forced stimulus became law, he was going to go back to those G7 countries and have them sign on the dotted line for that new global corporate tax rate higher at 15%. And then after he did, he was going to drop the U.S. corporate tax rate and appease those moderate Democrats, because at that point, we wouldn't need the U.S. corporate tax rate that high, because we would be too high to compete with a global corporate tax rate of 15%. Following me? Yes. So that was going into Thursday. On Friday, I told you I saw a small news clipping article that said the president was meeting with the G7 countries on Saturday morning. And I said, why? I told you as a viewer, I said, stay with me Saturday morning because I expect something strange coming out. And sure enough, it hit. Saturday morning, the president made a shocking, major, breaking news announcement, a news announcement of a generation, in which he said that he had agreed with the G7 countries to raise the global minimum corporate tax rate to 15% now, and that he's going to sign into law next week with them in person in Europe. Oh my goodness. This is huge for many, many, many reasons. One, it's pushing forced stimulus out the door and to the finish line. It's pushing forced stimulus to the finish line. Number two, it's appeasing moderate Democrats who are worried that the U.S. corporate tax rate would still be too high. Number three, it's appeasing any naysayer that says the U.S. corporate tax rate would be too high. Now he can drop the U.S. corporate tax rate because businesses won't flee internationally. He won't have to worry about recouping any sort of lost fees with them moving overseas, which was a big issue. All these issues were detailed by the president and the press secretary in the weeks in which they were debuting the forced stimulus. They were talking about not just the U.S. corporate tax rate, but also this global corporate tax rate. And with that, that is a major, major deal for forced stimulus. No one saw this coming to fruition before the forced stimulus called to vote. But it's a brilliant move to do it before the forced stimulus called to vote, because now it's every reason to pass forced stimulus by recon. Oh my goodness. Is there anything better than that? Yes, it's the volunteers. Reach out to the volunteers. They're on the community page. Open the community page and reach out to them. Where is that community page? If you go to the description of this video, look down and you'll see an emoji of a house. Next to that emoji of house is a link to the community page. It has a link over to the volunteers that can help you find that rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. If you try to find it, can't find it. They're salt of the earth. They embody the true Purple Power spirit. They're viewers helping viewers. Reach out to them. They'll send you to the community page, news.la.com/community. Go down that page and there they are, separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And when you reach out to them, they'll help you find that money. And I'll be ready to help you more with more updates about fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus right after this commercial break. Coming up in 60 seconds is more details about what's happening with fourth, new details you're never going to see before from this channel on Early Mornings LA, and new details about fifth. Stay with me. I'll see you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Early Mornings LA with big exciting details still about your fourth stimulus check and fifth stimulus check. How are you? It's Sunday morning. Big exciting details still forming, and I'm so excited you're here. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. I'm next with you on mornings LATE at 9 a.m., but Overnight's Crypto is currently airing. So jump into that show after this one. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut right into fifth stimulus right now. Fifth stimulus heats up this fall with an incredible relief for people on benefits. It raises up your benefits, and let's get to the details starting right now. First, their benefits limits will go higher, the asset limits will go away, the inflationary benchmark will get applied, the income exclusion will go away, and the marriage penalty will die. Let's go over all the wonderful details of that starting right now. How does this work? Let's go over everything you need to know about fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus heats up this fall by providing incredible relief across the board. That fifth stimulus involves, first, raising up everyone's benefits. So if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, and more, your benefits will be raised up a lifetime. Then they're going to apply a new benchmark. That benchmark is incredible. The benchmark is going to be inflation. It won't be CPIE. It won't be COLA. It'll be a higher benchmark than anything Elizabeth Warren was going to give you. And most analysts believe that the inflation rate in December will be the highest of a generation. Well, if they're right, then your benefits will see their highest jump of a lifetime. A lot more than anything Elizabeth Warren's $2,400 was ever going to give you. A lot more. Here's an example. Let's say the inflation rate is 6% this December. Then your benefits will step up one time under fifth stimulus, but then they're going to apply the benchmark. The benchmark would raise your benefits up 6% more next year. But not just next year, lifetime. This is incredible because as a benchmark works, it raises you up, never steps you down. If the year after this, the inflation rate is 0%, you don't step down. You're always at plus 6%. If the year after that, the inflation rate is 1%, then you're at plus 6 and plus 1%. It's incredible. Then they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law. It's going to go away so you can have more than $3,000 in hand just in time to get those stimulus checks. They're going to get rid of that 1960s law that says you can't work, the income cap. It's going to go away so you'll be able to work. And finally, the marriage penalty will die. Love is going to win. You'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and not suffer marriage penalty. And if you are married, you'll no longer be penalized. That's fifth stimulus. It goes out the door and likely into the money in your hand around October, November. And then the step up in next January. Finally, what's important to understand is that fifth stimulus has a lot of other money in there besides that. And there's not enough time in a 30-minute video that's currently at 23 minutes to go over everything that's in fifth stimulus. So that's why it's important to become a member. The link to membership is at the top of the channel, the pinned comment. As a member, I send you daily a breakdown of what's in the fifth stimulus, the fourth stimulus, and the third stimulus. A lot of this money is not automatic. You have to apply to get it, but it's your money. And so you need to go get it. For example, in the fifth stimulus, they propose to have money for hazard pay again, money for single individuals, money for seniors. So you need to know all the money you're entitled to. Fourth stimulus and third stimulus have other provisions, which I don't have time to cover in this video. But if you can't become a member, at least become a subscriber. You don't want to miss any of this video, money across the board. Now let's finally turn back to fourth stimulus with other breaking details that you need to know. First, we're going to go over calling the vote. It's important to understand that the fourth stimulus reconciliation is a 9-step voting process, and you can't skip a step. They're required by the Constitution. 9 voting steps, let's go over them right now. The first half are procedural, the second half are substantive. Step 1, the House subcommittee votes the procedural bill. Step 2, the House floor votes the procedural bill. Step 3, the Senate votes the procedural bill. And step 4, the President signs the procedural bill. At this point, the tow truck is passed over the finish line. Step 5, the House subcommittee votes on the substantive bill. It's at this point the House subcommittee would put the stimulus checks in there if they wanted to. Step 6, the House floor votes on the substantive bill. Step 7 and 8, the Senate does a vote-a-rama. It's 2 days. During that vote-a-rama, the senators introduce their amendments. For example, if the House had no stimulus checks, the senators can put it in there. If the House did have stimulus checks, the senators can modify it. And finally, step 9, the president signs it into law. Now, a personal message, and the first time ever on Early Mornings LATE. It's important for you to know that you have done a wonderful job over the last few months in being educated about steps of legislation. How do they do things? How do they pass things? And every day I see a series of comments from people that are jumping in the chat or on the page that are not necessarily subscribers or members. They're asking the questions. And I don't think they're going negative. I think they're confused. So let me teach you these answers. So if you see those questions, you can answer them as viewers of this channel. First, going on session breaks. What does that mean? It's important to know what the word Senate session break means or House Senate session break means. Last year, I made a video in which I laughed because there was one major broadcast channel that continually said, well, they're on session break, so they're not working. Yeah, they were working. In fact, the other party was working at the same time on confirming Supreme Court nominees. So let me explain what this means. In session means the floor of the House, the floor of the Senate. Does not mean if they are not in session, it does not mean they are out of town. It does not mean they're not working. Let me explain to you even clearer. The way the Senate and the House works is they have subcommittees. The subcommittees write the legislation. The subcommittees then send the legislation up to the speaker or the leader. Well, that's what they do every single day of the week, even when they're not in session. So they're only in session to vote on the floor with all the House members. But in the meantime, when they're not in session, the subcommittees are working on what subcommittees do. They're having meetings. They're writing legislation. They're having subcommittee hearings. For example, you may have seen in 2020 several times when Javita Late went to, not Javita Late, the other Javita Late, went to testify before the SBA subcommittee. That's when the Senate was not in session or the House was not in session. It's just testifying before a subcommittee. That's how it works. Next, we haven't heard from a person. A lot of people want to hear from people. What's important to understand is that legislators legislate. They don't have anything to do with other people. What's important to understand is the President of the United States, he proposes what he wants in legislation. He doesn't write the legislation. Now, ultimately, what he wants in the legislation needs to be included, because if it's not included what he wants, then he's going to veto it. But can you add stuff on top of what he wants? Absolutely. Have they done it before? All the time. That's what they did on the third stimulus. Here's the example. Third stimulus, what did they add in there? The forgiveness of student loan debt is a tax-free event added during the vote-a-rama at the Senate level. What else did they add? The $10,200, the first $10,200 of unemployment benefits is tax-free. When did they add it? At the vote-a-rama. Did anyone talk about those things ahead of time? No, they don't talk about these things ahead of time. But what's important to understand is that the president doesn't add these things, the legislators do. So the president's not going to talk about stimulus checks. He never would talk about stimulus checks and never will. They're added in by legislators. Which brings me now to the legislators. When do you see when House members do things and when do you see when senators do things? House members, you see the substantive result when the House subcommittee calls the vote. So the House subcommittee will release the actual subcommittee drafting sometimes, and you'll see that subcommittees vote. Now, if the House subcommittee doesn't have the multiple stimulus checks in it, don't fret, because then you have the Senate. The Senate is different, however. When we talk about the vote-a-rama, that two-day event of the Senate, it is a cloak and dagger secret operation. They intentionally don't want you to know what they're doing until they call the vote. Why? Number one, they don't want to tip off the opponent, which is the opposing party. Second, they don't want the opposing party to know when they're calling the vote, literally what hour. Third, they want to make sure that their entire caucus of their party is all aligned so that when they call the vote, they're all ready to pass it very quickly. Third, they don't want anyone else to know the provisions because they won't want them to start arguments that would derail the passage of the provision. That's why, for example, when the $10,200 of unemployment tax-free was introduced at the vote-a-rama, it was a surprise. No one saw it coming. When the student loan debt forgiveness is not a tax-free event, no one even knew it passed until after it passed. It was that much of a surprise. So that's how they do this. What else should you know about? Well, it's important to know that legislators don't give updates generally. So they won't be calling press conferences. And I know in a digital era, a lot of people want to hear things from these people all the time. They don't do it. Finally, the cast of characters of 2021 is different than the cast of characters of 2020. So a lot of people are expecting voices that they heard a lot from in 2020 to hear from those voices in 2021. It's just a different year. A lot of people calling the shots. A lot of different people are moving the ball forward. And ultimately, the last thing you need to know is that there is no faster process than 9 steps. That's the steps they have to do. But there is one last thing you need to know, and I think you already know it. It's you need to push purple power. Legislator's a legislator. They legislate. And when they pass a bill and it becomes law, sometimes the money never goes out. When they write a bill and they introduce a bill, sometimes they never call for a vote. And when they propose a bill, sometimes they never actually finalize the bill and fold like a lawn chair. So you have to push Purple Power. Now is the opportunity, the next 30 days, to really push. We aren't tracking checks on this channel. We're cashing checks. If you don't push, they may not do it. So hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. You need to share these videos on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and Reddit, and say, push, tag those elected officials, get those MSCs out the door, make sure they stay on point, because ultimately they're legislators. You don't want them to put the cows or the Cowcina before you or anyone else. You want yourself to be first, and ultimately you will if you push. And with that, thank you for joining me on a big early mornings broadcast. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering. Join me next in the overnight crypto show currently airing. Also, like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcium VIP, but at minimum, subscribing. Don't miss a single video across the board. I'm next with you on air on Mornings LA at 9 a.m. live. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful early morning, and stay with LA Purple.